Right now, she has 10 men in her phone. 10 men who are richer, stronger, better looking, and every one of them is trying to prove they're the best. And every single one of them is already losing. Because Machiavelli would tell you something brutal: the moment you compete for her attention, you've surrendered the game. Kings don't audition. Predators don't beg. You don't win by being the best. You win by making her forget there was ever a competition. There's a weapon in psychology so dangerous that once you understand it, you'll see why women walk away from perfect men and stay addicted to the one they can't figure out. It's called the Machiavellian principle of inverted power. And it flips the entire game upside down. Here's the first truth you need to burn into your mind: the faster you reply, the more you look like her assistant. The more you compliment, the more you become admirer number 11. The more you try to be perfect, the more predictable you become. Predictable men are invisible. Invisible men don't get chosen. Machiavelli said, "It's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." In seduction, fear doesn't mean violence. It means the fear of losing you. And once a woman feels that, the game is over for her, and for every other man in her phone. The others will drown her in attention. They'll flood her DMs, fight for her approval, and dance like trained animals for scraps of her time. You move differently. You make her wonder why you're not chasing. You make her question why you're not obsessed. Because the man who controls the frame controls her mind. And here's the psychological kill shot: emotional anchoring. It's the reason she remembers the man who made her heart race over the one who made her life easy. The female brain isn't built to crave comfort, it's built to crave intensity. That's why she can forget the man who treated her like a queen, but can't erase the one who made her feel something dangerous. Your job isn't to make her comfortable. Your job is to make her feel something the others are too afraid to create. While they say, "You're beautiful," you tell her, "There's something in your eyes that tells me you're not as innocent as you pretend." While they ask, "How was your day?" you notice the slight hesitation in her tone and say, "You're hiding something, and I want to know what." That's depth. That's precision. That's what she can't forget. Here's what the other 9 will never understand: attachment is not built through constant attention. It's built when she can strip away every mask in front of you and still feel safe. Machiavelli warned, men judge more by the eyes than by the hands. In seduction, the eyes are how you make her feel. The hands are what you give her. Any man can send flowers. Few can see her soul. Scarcity isn't about being unavailable, it's about being unreplaceable. It's not pretending to be hard to get, it's being a man whose time, attention, and energy are earned. When your presence is rare but powerful, you stop being just another name in her phone. You become the voice in her head she can't shut off. But there's a warning here: if she smells fear, you're finished. Neediness is the scent of weakness, and women can detect it before you open your mouth. The difference between the powerful man and the needy man is this: the needy man reacts. The powerful man responds. When she makes you wait for her reply, the needy man sends a second text. The powerful man keeps living, because he knows her approval is a bonus, not a necessity. Machiavelli's final lesson applies here: it's better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you are not. Because the mask always breaks. But authenticity is untouchable. Here's how you separate yourself from the rest. 1. Selective availability. Not everyone gets your time. And when they do, it's an event. Point 2. Calculated silence. You don't rush to fill the silence. You let her sit in the tension. 3. Emotional independence. Her mood can never dictate yours. And above all, create the fear of loss. Not with cheap tricks. Not with empty threats. But by being the kind of man who can walk away without hesitation and never look back. Because when she realizes she could lose you, she'll do everything in her power to make sure she doesn't. The other 9 cling, grovel, and smother her because they're terrified of losing her. You, on the other hand, create gravity not by holding tighter, but by refusing to lose yourself. Female psychology runs on a single primal current. She fears losing what she cannot completely control. Predictable men are hers to command at will. But an authentic, independent man? She can't get a grip on him, and that loss of control floods her system with emotional adrenaline. It's a drug and you become the dealer. Power, authenticity, selective scarcity, these are the weapons you've been sharpening. But the final blade, the one that separates the chosen from the discarded, is the paradox that shatters every assumption she has. The man willing to leave is the only man who stays. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Rulers keep their crowns not by begging for loyalty, but by proving they can reign without it. While the other 9 tighten their grip until their knuckles bleed, you acquire the most dangerous weapon in seduction, the genuine, unshakable ability to walk away. This isn't a bluff or a tactic. It's a cold, calculated truth. Your value is worth more than any outcome with her. And when you embody that, you detonate her expectations. She's used to men who panic when she pulls away, men who grovel when she hesitates, men who chase harder the moment she starts running. You do the opposite. You don't chase, you don't plead, you don't bend. You respect her decision and you respect yours even more. When she cancels plans, you vanish from her calendar. When she leaves you on read, you let silence sharpen her curiosity. When she shows disinterest, you turn up your life, not your charm. This is not passive disinterest, it's deliberate scarcity. You live as if she's already gone, because your life is complete without her, and that is exactly why she'll fight to stay in it. You've already mastered the paradox. The man willing to walk away is the man who stays. But here's the truth most men will never grasp: walking away is not the end of the game. It's the opening move in a much bigger strategy. When you pull back, you don't just create distance. You create a vacuum. And nature, especially female psychology, hates a vacuum. She will feel it. Not in her conscious thoughts, but deep in her instincts. The absence of your presence will disrupt her rhythm. The lack of your attention will itch in her mind like a question she can't answer. And that's when her curiosity becomes your greatest weapon. See, the moment you step back without flinching, the power dynamic flips. She's no longer the queen deciding who gets her time. She becomes the one wondering why you've stopped trying to earn it. The other 9 men are still in her inbox, still competing, still auditioning, but you're gone. And that absence is louder than all their words combined. Machiavelli would call this withdrawing to increase your value. You're not chasing, you're positioning yourself as the only one she cannot measure, cannot predict, cannot control. And the more she feels that loss, the more she will lean in to close the gap you've created. But here's the critical shift: when she starts to come closer, you don't collapse back into the old frame. You don't drop your guard, flood her with attention, or undo the scarcity you've built. Instead, you let her feel the effort it takes to reach you. Every step she takes toward you should feel like it's earned, because earned value is never forgotten. That's the moment when walking away stops being a defensive move and becomes an offensive weapon. Because you're not just holding your ground, you're pulling her into yours. When you've created that vacuum and she starts leaning in, you've entered the most dangerous and decisive phase of the game, the phase where you take emotional monopoly. Understand this: in a world where she has many men, time is not the rarest resource. Emotions are. She can divide her hours between 10 different suitors, but she cannot divide her emotional obsession. And once you own that, the others may as well not exist. Your goal is not to fight for more of her time like a desperate employee begging for overtime. Your goal is to occupy her mental real estate so completely that she starts measuring every interaction with other men against the way she feels with you. This isn't about flooding her with constant presence. It's about creating moments so charged, so deliberate, that they echo in her head long after you've left. While the other 9 are drowning her in predictable attention, you are planting hooks in her subconscious. Here's the psychological law at play. Humans are obsessed with what they cannot fully understand or secure. The moment she feels she's figured you out, the obsession dies. The moment she feels she's earned you but not owned you, it grows stronger. You achieve this by giving her contrasts light and shadow. You give her moments of genuine depth, connection, and understanding, and then you step back, creating space for her to crave more. You don't overexpose yourself, you ration access like gold. This is what Machiavelli would call controlling the battlefield. You control when the doors open, how much she sees, and when they close again. While the others are competing for her immediate attention, you are controlling her long-term fixation. Because here's the secret, you don't have to be her only man to be the only man who matters. And when you hold emotional monopoly, she will feel every absence like a wound, and chase you just to make the ache stop.